Hello? Can you hear me?
Here we go. All right, folks, we had to go a quick commercial break. We're right back. The gang's all here, the doctor and so forth, and Reef. All right, at this moment, guys, we're going to talk about we've done the Champions League. We've done the group stage of the Champions League. We've done all the 4 major leagues, apart from the Premier League summary. Now we're going to talk about the FIFA Men's Player of the Year. And the nominees came out today: Jago, CR7, KDB, Lewandowski, Manny, Mbappe, Messi, Neymar, Ramos, Virgil van Dijk, and Salah. Gentlemen, if you had 3 to choose from, which 3 would you choose from? Reef.
Okay, I go with CR7, of course, as the best striker, midfielder, whatever you want to put him in a position. And I go with Thiago as defender. And the last one, I go with Salah.
Okay, with Salah. All right, fair enough. And this was the player of the year, meaning last year. And a lot of people will tell you CR7 did Soro last year, but that's neither here nor there. All right, good doctor. Well, who do you have for your 3?
I put Lewandowski as my first.
Okay.
I would put. It's hard to choose between Neymar and Mbappe, but I'd say Neymar carried that team a little bit more than Mbappe did because he made more of an impact, in my opinion. And if I were to pick a defender,
you don't have to pick a defender. Just put three players.
No, those are my 3 players: Lua, Neymar, and Ramos.
And Ramos. All right, fair enough. All right, this is my 3 for the player of the year: Jago, he carried Bayern Munich basically on his back to a Champions League winning treble. Mbappe, because he basically carried PSG. Neymar was injured for more than 6 months of the whole season. Neymar played the least amount of games last year at PSG in his whole career there. All right. Last but not least, Virgil van Dijk, because without Van Dijk, one, they wouldn't have had the Champions League the previous season, and this season they would not have had the Premier League without Van Dijk. He's the rock, the bed that holds them together, and without them, those Liverpool will not be what Liverpool is. The best investment Liverpool and Klopp ever made was getting Virgil van Dijk. And if Thiago this year can show any form that he held last year, carrying that team, and Kimmich and all of that lot, truly, after the results which they're getting, wish that he was still there in Bayern Munich. All right, guys. That's the FIFA Player of the Year. Let us know your ones. You know where you can reach us. You see us on YouTube. You can send your comments and likes there. You can also send us emails via bluecheese1905@yahoo.com. All right, gentlemen, let's go to the Premier League roundup. Let's start off with, first of all, with Liverpool against Leicester City. Needless to say, Klopp's got it going on. Questions, comments, concerns. Go ahead, Doctor.
Jota, man. Jota is a hell of an acquisition.
Yeah.
100%. Like he showed a lot of quality while at Wolves, but like he showed his versatility being placed in a completely different team, a different setup, and everything like that. And hats off to Klopp, man. Like good selection.
Yeah, the Liverpool recruitment is
no, it's on fire. It's on point. It's on point. They didn't have to spend big.
No.
He knew that he had a system that already worked. He didn't have to modify it too much.
Yeah.
And happy for Bobby Firmino, man. Finally got a goal.
Indeed, he did.
Yeah.
How say you to Liverpool beating Leicester comprehensively? Brendan Rodgers going back to Anfield and getting slapped right and center, Reef.
That was like that game was interesting. I didn't see it coming. I didn't guess it's going to be like that. If you remember, we kind of pick up the scores.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of messed up with high color on that and did not pick up the right person and the right team, and they really like got hit very well there. But you know, you cannot win them all, you know.
Right, but it appears that what's the name? Liverpool are still marching on. Injuries or no injuries, they're able to plug in players left, right, and center into the system or whatever system that they happen to be playing at any given time. Do we concur, gentlemen?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, so this is an easy. We'll say Klopp. We're going to talk about tactical gurus. Let's say Klopp is a tactical guru. Another gentleman, which I thought was a tactical guru, was Arteta. Can someone please tell me what is going on at Arsenal and why does it seem that Pepe, who's a great fan of Zinedine Zidane, decided to imitate Zidane and give a Zidane welcome to the Leeds player? Doctor, how say you to this?
I mean, I think Zidane's headbutt was more epic. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
True, it wasn't a bigger glory in the World Cup.
Materazzi's soul left his body when he got headbutt.
Mm-hmm.
This barely touched. Like it looked like they were about to make out, and he's like, yeah. But Arteta's the thing with Arteta is that like he was given too much clout. I think like his team's in the middle of a rebuild basically, and everybody's like, oh yeah, he's a great tactician. I'm like, has he proven it though? Because who was the manager before him? Emery?
Mm-hmm. Or Freddie Ljungberg, but yeah.
Yeah, well, Emery had more wins and more points up until this stage in the season last season. Granted, there's no pandemic and there's none of the things that the current players and exhaustion they're dealing with and stuff, but he's still had a better outcome at this point in the season, this early on. I think he had 57, 58 points at this point. And these guys are languishing in the 40s right now. Even Arsene Wenger, like his last season, had 40 something points at this stage. So like I'm sure he's a good manager, but it's everybody's thinking that he's going to make the change now. You know, everybody thinks that he's going to be making the difference now, when I think he is going to be similar to Pep, where he needs the personnel as well.
All right, Reef, let me throw this at you. After giving Aubameyang a good contract and you begging for William, why cannot Arsenal score? How say you to that?
You know, it's kind of interesting. Before he's got the new contract, he was like on fire. And when he's got this contract, the fire all of a sudden down there. He's like, he's not scoring, he's not playing as good. And about William, I told you what I hear and what I read about him. He was going to Dubai in the middle of the epidemic, going for vacation, basically say to the club, I don't care what you think, I do what I wanted, I'm William, I'm having money as much as I wanted, I have my private jet, I'm going on my private jet and I'm going to Dubai for vacation. That's kind of changing a lot of the rhythm of the team and is disrespect everybody.
It don't happen in Chelsea. It don't happen in Chelsea. He's come over and he's doing that nonsense. He would never get away with that at Chelsea, whoever was the manager.
So I think all of this, you have to look on everything together. Everything is a components, one and another is changing the rhythm and is changing the dynamic of the team, changing the energy of the team. Now the manager have to basically be nice to them, but not put William on the bench. So you start open with William, and after 45 minutes, you see William is horrible. I cannot play like that. Yeah, he was in vacation. He's drinking. He's partying. He's thinking like he's like no problem. So, you know, I think, like I said before, and I say it again, I'm not putting my money on no one. I mean, at the moment, only on Chelsea because we're really performing. But and in a matter of the fact, Spurs doing very well. But you know, it's just a 9 game for the season. This week is going to be the 10th, so it's kind of far away to decide what's going on. But I hope Arteta can grab everybody together and talk and, you know, do the job of a manager have to do.
Doctor, let me throw this at you.
Yeah.
What is going on with these African French brothers? Martial, I get it. And he was provoked by the Argentinian. The Argentinian decided to stick his hand in the brother's face and try to push him away or slap his face. And I don't know the deep details, but something provoked that brother to headbutt him.
The problem is, I think it has a lot to do with these players also being young. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of, like, Arsenal fans have not been kind to their team or any of their players of late. So the moment anything happens, like, he was trending on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, support your team. You know what I mean? Like, this is a lot of pressure on a young player. Granted, he's been in the league for almost a year now, right? If not a little bit longer, like for the most part, most of a season at least. And like, not everybody copes with the degree of change and the physicality of this league. And to get completely plastered every single time that you are not happy with a performance or something like that, like, and he was playing out of position for most of last season, and people are expecting to be more versatile in a position that he really hasn't played in before. They need more creative outlets and stuff like that, but like, in the end, they're always going to find a bad guy to kind of pin something on. And that's a lot of pressure, especially on a young dude. I mean, in my mind, like, that would be, I would feel like it would be easy for him to break in the middle of a game and just go nuts, go crazy.
Which technically he did.
He did, yeah.
Yep.
Well, he didn't necessarily start a fight, but there's a lot of like the guy did flop, but like still.
But it
like,
seems that
a little
these
bit
guys
more
are
composure.
knowing how to wind up these brothers.
Yeah. No, definitely. Especially like I said, especially if you're at a team where the fans are just destroying. You know what I mean? Like it has to take a toll on these players. Like hell, if I have a bad day, I don't want to talk to anybody. You know what I mean? Like I can only imagine when you have like people, you're a public celebrity or a public figure, and people are just throwing trash at you all the time.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
It comes with big paycheck comes big responsibility. All right, guys. Let's hope for the best for the young guy as he makes it through. It's a difficult time, etc. But we'll see what Arsenal have. You missed last week's podcast, good doctor. I hope
yes. Sorry, I was in surgery. I apologize about that.
You don't. You don't have to apologize about doing your work. It's all good. We just hope that you saw the podcast later on this week of last week's podcast, etc.
I saw most of it, but I kept getting interrupted. Like
Understood.
kept like playing it. Then I like, okay, well, I'm gonna get up and do something else.
No worries. All right. Well, we had a great discussion last week about the top redo of a top 6, but in the meantime, the main game on Saturday was Spurs versus Man City. Gentlemen, I put it to you. I ask you this question, senors. Did Jose Mourinho put on a masterclass, or has Pep Guardiola now been exposed and outperformed? How say you to that, Reef?
I say it like that. I don't think Jose put exposed perform or something.
No, did he put a master? Did Mourinho put a master class on?
No. I think you know, I'm starting to see what you said previous week about Pep Guardiola. I mean, like, I have to admit that I'm starting to see what you're talking about. He's like, he's not there. He's not all there. He's like, I don't see what I saw before, you know, from him. I don't know why or what is changing. And I know all what you're talking about, the family, everybody being in Spain, he's being alone, his mom passed away from COVID. I remember all these points that you bring up, but still you have a job to do. And you have to basically kind of like, you have from one side your job and one side you have your life. And in your life, you have like the center of the things, and the drama is your mom passed away. And the other things is your family going away, and you're all by yourself, but you have to be maintaining your job that you're in contract with. And I really kind of like starting to see the feeling that maybe this is the last year of Pep, and I at least want to see him going with the, you know, proud out, and not with the tail between his legs like a little puppy. But it's sad. That's what I see. And I don't think he's like Jose put amazing performance, because if you put amazing performance, we have to crush it this weekend.
Okay. All right. Good doctor. I put this same question to you, senor. Did Jose put on a masterclass, or has Pep now been exposed and outperformed?
I think it's both.
Explain.
Like we saw vintage Mourinho that game, man. Like he's like, oh yes, you can keep the ball as much as you want.
So it wasn't a masterclass. It was just vintage. It's just rolling back the years. What was it?
He's rolling back the years, exactly. Like he like Pep hasn't changed necessarily the way he plays in terms of possession and things like that. Like they controlled the game. They had most of the possession throughout the game and stuff like that. And he just exposed their weaknesses, or had his players do the vintage counterattack thing that he used quite efficiently at Real Madrid, used quite efficiently at Chelsea. You know, like he parked the bus basically. He's like, all right, try not to have them attack as much as possible. But it's a Man City side. They did get their shots in. You know, they did manage to get into the box, and I think they had a goal disallowed. Was it?
Yeah.
When it touched.
It was disallowed handball.
Yeah. But like all in all, like he knew how to use the team's strengths. You know what I mean? Like Kane now is suddenly an assist machine instead of like just scoring goals. Now he has goal contributions other than actually just scoring, which has changed their attack quite sufficiently.
All right, let me put this to you, gentlemen. And I've said this before, and I don't play any favorites. When things need to be brought up, questioned, we are here. This is a potpourri of football topics, and we sprinkle at the end of it a hint of blue cheese on top of it. So let's look at this bowl of football topics in front of us, and let's look at Pep again, right? Because we've talked about how Lampard has been given 200 and almost 300 million for this year. Let's look at Pep. Pep, when he came to Man City, did not start to build a team. He inherited a team. This was a team that just finished in the semi-finals of the Champions League, won the League Cup that year, and then finished in the top 4. This is the team, the starting 11 that he started off with. Joe Hart in goal, Bukayo Saka, Kompany, Otamendi, Cliche. In midfield, he had Fernandinho and Yaya Toure. Up front, he had Sterling, David Silva, KDB, and Aguero. That was the starting 11.
Did they acquire KDB?
Of course. Listen, let me finish. All of those players have already won, had won with the season before, had won with Pellegrino, had won at the Premier League. Okay. He didn't remember. He has spent since then. He has spent $800 million to try to rebuild or build up on his thing, and he can't do it. He messed up with bringing in Claudio Bravo, messed that one up, and finally got Edison. So if you look at his starting 11 this week that he just finished playing, only 2 players that he brought on, that he brought himself, was Edison and Kyle Walker. KDB, he inherited KDB. Sterling, he inherited Sterling. He brought in David Silva. He brought in Rondo. He brought in Cancelo. He brought in Diaz. He brought in Laporte. All of those players, 800 million he has spent since that starting 11. And they are nowhere at this moment challenging for the Premier League. Go ahead.
It's very, honestly, John, you know it better than me, and I don't know if better than Hardy, but it's so hard to mimic or to win season after season. It's so hard to do the double, or 3 of them. And, is there a lot of problem on his team? I mean, the player that you name, Aguero, I don't know how many games he's played for the season. He play a game or half a game and he's injured. He play a game and he's injured. He's playing 30 minutes, he's injured.
Reef, you are the one manager, not just apart from PSG in France, you are the one manager in England that has limited resources. Limited. You can get any person you want. You went and got.
I understand.
That means your recruitment was poor. The fault is in you, Pep.
It's not even just the recruitment, but the recruitment and the timing of the recruitment. Like they got rid of when Kompany was leaving. They knew Kompany was leaving, and they didn't replace him.
No, because because Pep advised them. I can do this without a robust centre half like Kompany. I don't have to play John Stones. He plays pretty on the ball.
But that's what I'm saying. Like his approach is more or less, to me, looks like a cookie cutter approach. You know what I mean? Like he kind of plays the same way. Like in essence, he plays the same way everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He hasn't changed the way or adapted in any way, shape, or form.
When
like
he
there are players have improved and changed in how they have started performing. Like Sterling under Pep was different than Sterling under Pellegrini.
Yes,
right?
he has grown.
So
He has grown, but that was a lot of it was due to the aid of Arteta. If you ask Jose, and Arteta is no longer there.
Agree. I'm not.
In order to answer Reef's part, the person you cannot turn around and say, Pep, you know what, you get a pass because of it takes time to train people, or it takes time to replace Aguero. Aguero has been there for approximately a minimum of 8 years, 8 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And in that stage, you have unlimited resources. You are backed. People are backed by. We're backed by a billionaire. People are backed by companies. You are backed by a nation, an Emirates, an Emir, a whole nation. So you can get any player you want, provided you can get on with that player. And one example was Leroy Sané. Leroy Sané said that you tried to push him instead of letting him play the way he can play as best as he can to help you. Leroy Sané is out of this world. The same nonsense you had with Zlatan in Barcelona. Go ahead, Reef.
Same nonsense he had with Yaya Toure.
Yes, I know. Go ahead, Reef.
You know, like you said, Aguero playing for 10 years, and I disagree with you in the past, but I'm starting to see different picture right now. So I'm a human like everybody, and I made a mistake. Like, when Chelsea let for William go, I thought it's a mistake. And right now what I see is not a mistake, is people see and know the business so well that they know to make the right decision. At the moment, as we're speaking, and previously I say it's a mistake, but at the moment when we're speaking, I can see is the right decision. It's the right decision because we see the moment Arsenal are performing. The same thing about Aguero. They were maintaining, keeping him instead of starting to find for him a replacement. The same problem they have with Sterling. Sterling did not start. I don't know if he was injured or not, but he started on the 72 minutes.
Mourinho messed with Jose's mind during the week. So Sterling got to go back from the England training thing, but Harry Kane didn't. So Mourinho turned around and says that, wow, it's like a miracle. Suddenly, I bet you Sterling will be playing on Saturday. So Pep replied and says, oh, he thinks that he's a doctor, does he? Dr. Jose, does he? Well, guess what? Well, and Mourinho messed with his mind, and he didn't start Sterling, even though Sterling was ready to start in order. Mourinho did that to him.
And I understand what you're saying. That's one thing. Another thing is, if you're looking on, and we talked about it last week, about subbing, I don't understand why they have only 2 subs in Manchester City, that they have 3 options to change 3 players. You can make so many changes. And he didn't do anything. He only subbed 2 players. He subbed only Raheem Sterling and Phil. The only 2 people that came in. And I'm like, something is wrong. The chemistry that Pep usually have is not there for some reason. So I don't think it's the master of Jose. I think it's the failure of Pep.
I'm coming to you, Doctor, in a minute. Pep inherited in Barcelona. Pep inherited an academy bumped up and started from Van Gaal, passed on to Rijkaard. Rijkaard had just won the Champions League the previous season before. They missed out the second time. Pep inherited the best academy from La Messi ever, coming from Barcelona B all the way through. He then inherited a triple winning Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich were not like in 10th place or what's they? They had just won the triple, the Champions League and 2 of the domestic leagues. And he just, it brought icing on the cake. What do you want? Aldi money. What do you want? I want Jago. What do you want? I want this one. What do you want? I want that one. And he got it. He's now here in Man City. I told you what the starting 11. Right now, that starting 11, none of the players right now, KDB is already in there, Sterling is already in there, Aguero's on there, but every one of those starting 11 right now has not been replaced any quality. Yaya Toure has not been. Fernandinho is now having stomach pains and stomach problems, can't play. Company has not been replaced. Only Edison and say Carl Walker, who's making a lot of mistakes of late.
Yep.
So again, good doctor, I say to you, if it's not a Jose masterclass, has Pep now been exposed and outperformed?
Yeah. Yeah, he's been exposed. I said, I think it's both. I think like if you play with the same time long enough, right? Like how many years did he stay in Germany? Like what, 3?
3.
Yeah. He played exactly the same way 3 years in a row, got exposed each time in the Champions League. Right? And by Real Madrid twice in 3 seasons, I think, if I recall correctly.
Reef, if this is a building season for Manchester City, why did they not give Pep a 5-year contract extension?
I don't know if you want to stay there, man. I don't know if you want to stay there.
I don't think Pep ever built a team, though.
Exactly. And that's why he's not going to be here. So I say to you, Reef, one final time, senor, at the end of the season, will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still be in Manchester United, and will Pep be in Man City? How say you to this?
I believe at the moment, as I see things, at the moment, both of them are not going to be there.
No.
Not in Manchester City, not in Manchester United.
No, you missed the, listen, you because you weren't here earlier on, you missed the podcast or the Champions League, but you could catch it on YouTube for that one.
Okay.
Gentlemen, last major question of the night. Spurs versus Chelsea. Who wins and why? Doctor.
Chelsea.
And why?
Because I bleed blue, bro. No. I think as a team, we are more well-rounded personnel-wise with depth. Like even if we chose to rest some players, we can still form quite a bit of a threat. Mourinho's new additions, Højbjerg, Reguilon, are fantastic additions to a team. But even when, like, I think he played Reguilon on the left, on the left or the right. I think.
He always plays him on the left.
He always plays him on the left. And he was missing Doherty, and he played Aurier to great effect on the right. So, like, he has some personnel in certain positions, but I feel like if we press hard enough, we will make their advances obsolete, especially with our defensive backing of late. We have, I think, in my opinion, I think as good as Hugo Lloris is, I think we have a better keeper now than Hugo Lloris. I think in terms of our defensive personnel, I think our defensive midfield, like Kante going back into, like he's had the last 2 games he's played have been pretty good for France and for Chelsea. We have quite a few attacking options that we can switch around.
So you're going for Chelsea for the win. All right.
Just win 1 or 2-0. 2-1.
And he gave us the score as well. Reef, Chelsea and Spurs. Who wins and why, senor?
Okay. I'm going with Chelsea, of course. And why? I start from the back line. First thing, we have Mendy. And he's had amazing performance week to week and game to game. A defense performing very well right now is very, very confident from the back line forward. You know, I believe if the defense play very strong and 2 key players is Ken and Song, and we shut him down, we can definitely make it as a clear win. And my score for the game is 3-1 Chelsea.
3-1?
3-1. 3-1.
Okay. Gentlemen, I'm going to put it as a Spurs win, and the score is going to be 1-1. Are you waiting for me to
draw?
Yeah.
Spain. It's going to be, it has draw written all over it. It has a game of chess. It is a game of chess, not checkers in this thing. They've already met in the League Cup and it ended up being 1-1, going to penalties, and then Spurs winning it at the end, bringing on Gareth Bale and that lot at the end. That's what he's going to do. He's going to sit in, lock in, let these young guys throw themselves left, right, and center. They'll get a goal, but that's all they'll get. And then he'll hit on a counter, whether with Birchwine, whether with Gareth Bale, Song, etc., and 1-1. That 1-1 is a win for Mourinho. A win or draw is a win for Mourinho. He's in the top 4. I've said it. He's in the top 4 to stay, and he ain't going anywhere. I've given you the example of how when you get meat stuck in your teeth and it's like you can't get. That's how Mourinho is in the top 4. He'll do whatever he can to stay in there, and he's not coming out. So he'll outsmart Frank. 1-1 draw is not too bad for us, but it's more of a loss than a win for us. We need to beat Spurs for our own self-confidence and our own growth. But it's going to be a tactical game in here, and the Silver Fox knows how to do it. He'll aim to get a draw, and with that draw is a win for him. Questions, comments, concerns?
None.
All right. So I'm going to end.
I still believe that Chelsea going to win it, and maybe a bit off in the score. And we're playing at home, so it's another point that I all the time find is a very important point. It's a home game, Chelsea at home. Jose coming to visit, and he's not his home ground. So I see it as a point. I know some of them you're not, but I do.
All right.
I do believe Chelsea going to win it.
Fair enough. I'm going to what's the name? End the show to the folks, and we can carry on rapping about this afterwards. Basically, Stamford Bridge is Mourinho's home. To him, it's the bridge that he built. All right, guys, you can see us on YouTube, and give us a like, thumbs up, a like, comments down below in there. You can also email us at bluecheese1905@yahoo.com, and we take all of your questions. From me, Jono, happy Thanksgiving. I'll say down in Florida, Reef, say bye to the folks.
Bye, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
Excellent. Good stuff. Good doctor up in the Carolinas. How say you?
Be safe if you're traveling to see family. Be mindful if you have elderly at home. And be safe. Happy Thanksgiving.
Excellent, folks. We'll see you all next week with a whole host of topics, etc. Take care of yourselves, one and all.